Holidays are a special time of the year for most people, but for some families and kids in particular, can bring up dread or even fear. Parenting contributor Belinda Palacios is here today with some tips on what to do when kids try to sabotage the holidays. Can we just do a quick, broad definition of what we mean when we say kids sabotaging the holidays?
You know, it can be a variety of things in a large spectrum. It can be from kids just really being quiet, wanting to be off by themselves, all the way to the extreme of tantrums and outburst. And so in all that's in between.
Do you think that they're aware of their sabotage? Sometimes they are, sometimes they are not.
I think they are sometimes, but you know, there's a lot of times to where there's the emotional piece that's stirring within them, that's kind of triggering all of this, really kind of takes hold. And so it's just the feelings are what becomes so overwhelming to them that they're really not focused on how it's affecting other people.
Okay, we're talking, and sometimes things like, you know, abandonment issues, things
Right.
like death, those kinds of divorce,
Yep.
you know, those kinds of things can really contribute to, especially sort of heightened emotions just in general during this time of the year.
Right, you know, in trauma, you know, if there has been a specific trauma in the family within the year or the last 2 years, you know, any of those losses or traumas can really, when you have these times where it's supposed to be happy, everybody's supposed to be together, that's when things can go, you know, I'm really not happy, I really don't want to be here because of whatever the case may be. And it just kind of even intensifies those feelings because you're supposed to feel this way, but I don't.
Okay, talk about routines. This can also contribute this time of the year.
It's very important because, you know, everybody has a routine, you know, and then the holidays, it just kind of goes out the window. People are in and out of the house, you're in the car driving somewhere, sometimes on a plane driving somewhere. You know, meal times are different. They can be more elaborate. They can be, you know, a huge meal versus some people just do the little snack meals. And so everything is off kilter. And so trying to keep those routines as much the same as possible is important for these kids that have experienced loss or trauma in the last year.
And I think this year, too, this time of the year, too, just for everybody, sort of the weight of expectation can be really debilitating for some people.
It is because, you know, everybody, you know, has this view of a picture perfect Christmas, you know, to where you've got the Norman Rockwell painting sitting around the fire and singing Christmas carols, and that doesn't happen anyway. But I think, you know, when you have expectations of all these different people coming in and I have to behave like this, and somebody may be coming that you haven't seen since the trauma or the loss occurred, that brings up some of those feelings. It's like, oh, you know, just how am I supposed to act? Are they going to bring it up? Are we going to have to talk about it? You know, all those kinds of feelings and thoughts can swell around.
So let's talk about things parents can do. First of all, they can lower their own expectations, right?
They can, you know, just let it happen. You know, just, you know, understand that that it may not go as perfectly. It may not look like it did in times past, but you can make it still a very happy and a very fulfilling holiday.
You can maintain those routines like we talked about and really be willing to let go of things that aren't working for your kids anymore.
That's right. You know, if something horrible has happened or something that is not pleasant has happened, and there's things that, you know, the family did time and time again, year after year, but it's something that's not working any longer because of whatever occurred, you know, be done with it. It's okay to do that.
And then we want to make sure that kids have their expectations sort of set and they're managed, and we're all managing one another's expectations, right?
And parents can really, you know, for things that have occurred, sitting down and talking to your kids about, look, this is going to be a hard Christmas. I know that. Let's talk about how we can make it the best Christmas that we can, even though there's going to be times it's going to be sad, it's going to be hard, or it's even going to have times to where you're resentful and angry, and really processing that through, that you're going to have those feelings and it's okay, but how it's not okay to present that.
Okay. All right, and then also this is a season that you can say yes a lot, and so that's kind of nice, right?
It is, and I think even, you know, yes, we can go look at Christmas lights. Yes, you know, I'll sit down and play this board game or card game with you. Yes, please help me wrap gifts. Yes, you can help me, you know, make the Christmas meal, those kinds of things.
And maybe just by saying yes a couple times, you come up with a new tradition. You come up with a new activity that
That's
your family
right.
feels
You know,
strongly about.
if your kids and your family has experienced a trauma or a tragedy, you know, in the most recent year or two, you know, sit down and talk with your kids about, just like I said a little earlier, you know, what can we do? How can we make this the best possible? And this may be the perfect time to start new traditions.
I love that. And this, you know what? This can be applicable for kids old and young,
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
Isn't that the truth?
Absolutely. You know, and I think the dialogue with how you discuss with your kids can change, but the content will remain the same.
Absolutely, for sure. So your parenting challenge this year is having that conversation,
Yep,
really, right?
have that conversation and start those new traditions to make it with the family that remains.
All right, very good. Belinda, as always, great advice. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Merry
We appreciate
Christmas
you
to
coming
you.
in. Coming up next, we've got news and weather headlines. Y'all don't go anywhere.